registration.
Okay, I'm here with John Holmes, who rode Gideon for the win for the Grand Prix today, this afternoon. Can you tell us a little bit about Gideon?
Gideon is a 10-year-old Dutch warm-blood gelding by Hamlet, and he's a horse that I imported about 3 years ago as a 6-year-old, as a stallion, and I didn't have too much luck as a stallion, so we took the option out, and he's been somewhat more successful since he's been a gelding. And I've been bringing him along in the low amateurs, the medium amateurs, and then eventually the high amateurs. And when it's convenient, I try to place him in some of these the smaller, meter 40 Grand Prix or meter 45 Grand Prix, like we had here today at Fieldstone.
And what would you say his strengths are?
I think Gideon's strengths are he's quick across the ground, and he's equally as quick, in the air. I mean, he's a horse that, you're not going to beat him running across the ground. You can beat him sometimes in turns, because he is somewhat hot and somewhat erratic in his turns. But on an open field like this, where you can just really open up and run, sometimes the options become, sometimes you have an option of leading out 2 strides as opposed to leading out just 1 stride. I mean, he just turns over his feet that quickly. So that would be his strength.
Now, what was your plan for the jump off?
My plan for the jump off, well, I had the luxury of having a horse that went earlier, one of the 4 horses in the jump off, so I kind of got to see the jump off, and I kind of got to see the turns, and I knew from 1 to 2 it was just a flat out open run, belly to the ground, and that's exactly what we did with Gideon. And then I had the opportunity to slice back to number 13 in the jump off, a lot tighter with Gideon because he's a more experienced type horse. And then after that, I just kept running, and the jumps kept coming up, very right on target, and we kept leaving them out. We left 2 strides out the second to the last line. We left 2 strides out the last line as well, and you got to the other side and didn't hit the jumps.
Do you think that's where he made up the time?
I think he made the time up from 1 to 2, and I think it was a combination, because we beat VJ by I think almost 2.5 seconds, and he was really quite fast. So I think we obviously left out at least 1 stride from 1 to 2, and possibly 2 strides from I guess it would have been 8 to 9, and then the last line we left out 2 strides. So you add that up, that's 3 or 4 strides there, and that comes to about 2 seconds probably.
And have you won previous Grand Prix with him?
He's a horse this is probably the second Grand Prix he's done.
Wow.
So he usually does the high amateurs.
Okay.
But he's been a really competitive amateur horse for me.
And where else do you plan to go? Show?
Well, we're going to go to Lake Placid next week, and then we're just going to go for 1 week, and then we come home, and I got to get back to work, do some things so I can afford this Sport of Kings. And then maybe we'll do some Vermont shows, and maybe we may come back here in August and perhaps like Southampton. I like showing on the grass in the summertime. It's a real pleasure, and I got to give the Clausen family a lot of credit. The field was, for the rain they had, the field was really quite good. It really wasn't any. The turf really had no effect at all today.
And what does this win mean for you?
Well, this win means. It means, I think, a check for $8,000 or $9,000. Okay, and it's always great to win in a jump off. Especially, it means a lot when you go last and there's somebody to run after. And VJ, he was really fast, and that mare Tequila, she has a reputation for being extremely fast. So to go in his backyard and beat him by 2 seconds, it felt it felt good. It was just as it would be for him, you know, to come to my neighborhood and beat me by a couple seconds.
Exactly. Well, congratulations, and thank you very much.
All right, thank you.